Hey everybody, I'm Pierre Piscitelli. Hope you're all doing great. Today's lesson will be Someone Like You by Adele. This is a classic piano ballad that gets requested very frequently, so I'm finally doing a lesson on how I like to play this. My arrangement, as always, is available on musicnotes.com for purchase if you're interested. Please check out my Patreon if you like what I do and you want to support me, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video if it was helpful to you. Okay, let's get into the lesson. This is a pretty long song, and what makes it tricky is that there are so many repeating sections that sound almost identical, but there's one or two notes here and there that will change and throw you off. So let me show you guys first what the intro sounds like. It's 4 measures, and then I'll teach it to you. Here we go. So I'm going to show you how to play it in terms of shapes before I teach you how to move the right hand around in order to create those 16th notes. So the first thing you want to do with the right hand is play a regular root position A major triad, A, C sharp, E. Just like that. Once you have that, move your thumb down a half step to G sharp. Once you have that, we're going to stretch a bit and play F sharp, C sharp, and F sharp. Just like that. And the final chord looks like this. A, D, F sharp. So all 4 chords very slowly. Number 1, it's an A major triad. Number 2, it's a C sharp minor triad. The bass will be a little bit different though, so stay tuned for that. Third chord is an F sharp power chord, or F sharp 5. Final chord, D major. Next, you have to learn the arpeggiation, which is going to be bottom note, middle, top, middle. So if we're taking the first chord as an example, the A major, like this, I'm using the fingers 1, 3, 5. So I play the bottom note, middle, top, middle. 1, 3, 5, 3 in this case. A little faster. Again. Now to complete a measure, it has to happen 4 times, like this. 2, 3, 4. A bit faster. And this is going to happen for all 4 positions that I showed you. So let me demonstrate. Move the thumb. So that's how you get from those shapes that I showed you to the full arpeggiation where you're rolling the chords and it actually sounds like the song. So depending on your level or how easy this is for you to grasp, just follow those steps that I showed you very slowly until you can roll the chords around just like that. Now the left hand is just whole notes. You're just going to sit and count to 4 for the most part. So the first thing you have to play is A and E, like this. I use pinky and thumb. Next, I move the pinky down a half step to G sharp. Next, F sharp and C sharp. Finally, I go down to D and A. One more time, no talking. If you can get through that, then you've really mastered the backbone of this piece, because that's the primary riff that you hear through the intro, through the verses. There's something similar in the choruses, but we'll talk about that later. So it's really important that you can do that relatively effortlessly. So don't go on until that feels good enough. Now, the verses are basically going to be that 4-bar progression that I just showed you, the introduction, 3 times, so 12 bars. However, as I mentioned before, there are these tiny 1 or 2 note differences that make life a little bit difficult. So let me play you the first out of the 3 rounds of the verse and see if you can spot the minute difference. Did you catch it? The very last measure, instead of being A, D, F sharp in the right hand, like the introduction, my thumb was down on F sharp. So it was F sharp, D, F sharp. Now, do you have to do this? No. You can play what I showed you before 3 times for the verse, and it's fine. But if I'm going to be as accurate as possible to show you what's on the recording, I'd rather cover all of my bases, cross my T's, dot my I's, and show you all of these little things that are happening. It's up to you if you want to follow through with that or not. So again, the verse, same as the intro. And on this final bar, F sharp, D, and F sharp. Left hand was entirely unchanged. Let me play the second round of the verse. Remember, there are 3. No change. It's the same. That's really good news. Let me play the third and final round of the verse. Tiny change again on that last bar. Instead of F sharp, D, F sharp, it's now F sharp, A, F sharp. So fingers 1, 2, 5 are probably best. Just like that. It's the only difference on that last round. It's still a D major chord. The tonality is the same, the vibe is the same, but it's just, like I said, one of these annoying little differences that happens. Let me play the pre-chorus and then we will talk about it. Beautiful pre-chorus. So here's what's happening in the pre-chorus. I'm going to show you the very first shape with the right hand like we did before. Kind of unusual. It's an E major chord, but there's an added 2 or added 9 in there. The F sharp, that's the oddball note here. So F sharp, G sharp, E, just like that. 1, 2, 5 is best. Now just move the index up a half step. So you have F sharp, A, E. This gives you an F sharp minor 7. Now move the pinky down a white key to D. So you have F sharp, A, D. So those 3 shapes. Number 2. Number 3. Now we're going to do basically the same thing. Shape number 1. Shape number 2 again. But something new this time. F sharp, A, F sharp. Big stretch. We've done this before. Now go back to the first shape. F sharp, G sharp, E, and go back finally to F sharp, A, F sharp. A little confusing. Let me talk you through all those shapes. Let's do those first 2 again. Now big stretch. Back to the first. Stretch again. Now I'm going to show you how to roll them and how many times each one occurs. The rolling pattern is the same. Bottom, middle, top, middle. But the amount of times that each chord happens, that's what's a little bit tricky. So watch this. That one is twice. Twice. Next one will be 4 times. 2, 3, 4. Now it's like going back to the beginning. Twice. This one is twice. Now the new one, the big stretch, will be twice. This one will be twice. And finally, stretch again, F sharp A, F sharp, twice. Okay, no talking. And there's your pre-chorus. Let's talk about the left hand for a second. It's very easy, half notes and whole notes, and it's the same thing twice. Watch this. E and B, drag it up to F sharp and C sharp, down to D and A. You hold this for a little while, and just repeat that. E and B, F sharp, C sharp, D, A. Now you will move that left hand every time, almost every time, a right hand pattern changes. Let me demonstrate. So we start together. Move. Move. Hold this one longer. Remember, we stay on this chord longer. Here we go. Now, even though the right hand is going to have some differences here, left hand doesn't change. See, it stays. So even though my right hand is going change, change, right? Left hand stays on DNA in that case. So even though I played it for you a few minutes ago, let me play through this pre-chorus, no talking, one more time very slowly, just so you see now that I've broken it down for you. Here we go. That's your pre-chorus. Let me play the chorus for you now. This part is really fun. Here's how it goes. That's your chorus. It sounds like the same progression 4 times, because it is. But like I said, there are these minute differences if you want to get the specifics of what the piano player is doing on the recording. There are little things I have to show you. If you don't really care, I'll show you the basic progression and you can do that 4 times, and that's totally fine as well. So the first thing we're going to do in the right hand, A, C sharp, A, 1, 2, 5. Next, bring it down, G sharp, B, G sharp. Back up to A, C sharp, A. Just change the middle note for the last one, A, D, A. See, I just go up a little bit. Or I could even use 3. No, not too comfortable, maybe 2. Depends on your hand. Again. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. So this is essentially a classic A, E, F sharp, D, right? This is a chord progression we've heard a million times. So you can literally do this 4 times if you want, and you have the chorus. Left hand plays a big A octave, big E octave, and an F sharp power chord, so F sharp and C sharp. And then D octave. We did the F sharp as a power chord because we don't want to crash with the right hand. We could have gone down below and played an F sharp octave, but that's not what's happening on the recording. So trying to be ultra specific here, but in the long run, do these things matter? Not really. So again, A octave, E octave, F sharp power chord, F sharp 5, D octave. So all together with rolling right hand, same pattern, 1, 2, 5, 2, right, or bottom, middle, top, middle. So let's say you don't want to take the easy way out and just do that 4 times. Let me show you what the differences are in each cycle. So that's cycle number 1 out of 4 of that chord progression in the chorus. Okay, here is cycle number 2. There's only one difference. You may have caught it. It's right here. Right hand changes to B, E, G sharp. Just a different way of playing E major. I think before we did that. So this is actually easier. Okay, that's the only difference. So round 2 out of the 4. The rest is the same. Okay, now I'm going to play round 3. Okay, this has a few more differences you may have caught. First thing, the first chord, we're no longer playing an A octave in the left hand. It's A and E, power chord. Next chord is the same as the second round. Now this is different. One note was changed. The first note attacked with the thumb was a B instead of an A. May have been a mistake, it sounds cool. So instead of, we play a B and then go back to an A, watch. Last chord, same. So let me play round 3. Now let me play the 4th round. So what are the differences here in the 4th round? Our A major is the same. E major is the same as before. F sharp minor is a little simpler. Right hand is now A, C sharp, F sharp. And look at the last chord, D major, also simplified. It's now A, D, F sharp. Okay, a little bit different. Now, let's go to the 5th round. I may have said there were 4 rounds before. I lied. There are 5. I'm sorry about that. Here's the 5th one. Quite a few differences there. It's simplified and the shapes are getting smaller, as are the dynamics. It's getting a little bit quieter, right? The chorus is dying. So left hand is A, E, we're used to that, but now right hand, no longer stretchy. It's A, C sharp, E, basic A major chord. I love it. And the next one, basic E major, right hand is G sharp, B, E. Next, basic F sharp minor, A, C sharp, F sharp, right hand. And finally, basic D major, A, D, F sharp. Now the thing to note is that the last chord, the D major that I just played, is a little bit longer. It happens 4 full times. So there's an actual, there's an odd little half bar in there. There's a 2/4 measure in there. So let me play the 5th and final cycle of the chorus. Hear it at those 2 extra times, so make sure you do that. And at this point, aside from the upcoming bridge, you pretty much have all of the music that you need in order to play this song. So the upcoming verse, you can stick with me here if you want. I'll show you some specifics and changes that happen. Otherwise, you can just play the verses the way you've been doing them because the underlying chord structure is the same and it doesn't really matter. But let me play the next verse anyway so you can hear it. Luckily, it's the same thing twice. It's not a triple verse. It's not a triple chord progression like it was in the beginning. This is only twice, so 8 bars. Let me show you how it's being played here. A and E power chord in the left hand. Very familiar, right? Right hand is a basic A major triad. Next measure, bring the left hand pinky down to G sharp. Thumb in the right hand comes down a half step to G sharp. This should all be familiar. Third bar, we have F sharp and C sharp. Left hand, right hand is F sharp, C sharp, F sharp. Here's the big difference. In the next one, we're playing a very low D octave, down here. If you don't have it, play it higher. If your keyboard is smaller, it's okay. Right hand, F sharp, A, F sharp. So all 4 shapes, A major, C sharp minor over a G sharp root, F sharp power chord, D major. Now I'm going to roll them slowly. That's it. Just do that twice so that it's not 4 bars, it's 8 bars. Coming up now, there is a pre-chorus. Let's see if it's any different from the last pre-chorus. A little bit different. About 90% of it is the same, but it goes off a little bit. So let me show you what's happening here. We'll start with the left hand. Big E octave, as low as possible. F sharp octave. D octave. Just do that again. E. F sharp. D. Right hand shapes. A lot of them are familiar. F sharp, G sharp, E. Move the index up to A. F sharp, A, E. Pinky comes down to D. F sharp, A, D. Let's do that again. F sharp, G sharp, E. Second finger up to A, so F sharp, A, E. Then F sharp, A, D. Go back. F sharp, G sharp, E. Then something new, F sharp, A, F sharp. Then another new one, we're getting bigger, we're stretching more. This might be tough for some. F sharp, B, G sharp. It's pretty stretchy. If you can't reach this, you can, remember this is arpeggiated. So if your hand is small, watch my hand. You can move your hand kind of like a spider. You can move around. You don't necessarily have to be able to stretch it. For the purposes of showing you the shapes, yeah, we have to stretch it. But if you can't, just don't worry about it now and play the individual notes later when we get to that step. Okay, so now rolling these chords the way they're supposed to be rolled. Very slowly. Again. Stretch. Even more. And there's your next pre-chorus, which means we're going to go into a chorus. And this chorus is going to be a hair shorter than the last one. The last one had 5 revolutions of the chord progression, even though I lied sometimes and said it was 4. Sorry about that. It was 5 times. This one will actually be 4 times through. So let me play this chorus for you. You don't really have to learn it. You can do what you did in the last chorus, but there might be specifics here that change. Let's find out. Nothing new, the usual suspects, the usual interchangeable variations and inversions for chords that you have seen. Notation-wise, there's nothing new here that you haven't played yet, but I'm still going to go through it so you can catch some specifics. If you want to skip this, feel free to skip it. Okay, very beginning of the chorus, right hand. Here's the first shape, A, C sharp, A. Second shape, E major. B, E, G sharp, A, C sharp, A. Move the middle note up a half step to D, A, D, A. If we roll that, just like that. That's the first round. There are 4. Here comes the second one. A, C sharp, A. The same, we know that shape. B, E, G sharp for E major. Same shape. A, C sharp, A. We know it already. Ah, there's a difference. A, D, F sharp for D. But we've done that before, so nothing crazy. Let me roll it. Okay, good. Now, I believe the third revolution out of 4 is going to be just like the first one. Watch. Yeah, I should clarify, not I believe it's like the first one. It is the first one, so it is exactly the same. Now let's look at the final one, the 4th revolution out of 4. That's different. Okay, so it looks like the second chord was different. There was the first one, A major, we know that well. G sharp, B, G sharp for the second chord, the E major. That's the big difference. A, C sharp, F sharp for F sharp minor. We've done it before, just not in this chorus. And then A, D, A for D. We know how to do that. I'm gonna go through the left hand now, mostly octaves and power chords. You know the deal by now, but just so you have the specifics, if you care about this specific chorus, let me show you. A octave to start. E power chord, E and B. F sharp and C sharp, power chord. D octave. Round 2, A octave. E octave. F sharp and C sharp, power chord. D octave. Round 3 starts with an A power chord, A and E. E octave. F sharp and C sharp, power chord. D octave. A octave for the fourth round. E octave. F sharp power chord. D octave. So a lot of the same stuff. Very slowly with the right hand, and then we're going to move on to a bridge. That's your slow chorus. Moving on to a bridge. Here's how the bridge goes. I'll play it and then we'll break it down. Very nice bridge. Actually pretty easy too. It's 5 measures, which is weird, and I love when weird stuff happens in music, as you guys know. So right hand shape, G sharp, B, E, which yields an E chord. And then we're gonna bring it up, same shape, to A, C sharp, F sharp, which is F sharp minor. Then we're gonna play A, D, A, which is a D power chord, D5. Now, B, D, B kind of implies a B minor, right? Just we're missing the 5th, but who cares? And then C sharp, E, A, which is A major. Then regular D major. Bring it up to regular E major, E, G sharp, B. So all those shapes. Number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. Now if we roll them, I'll stop there because you can probably see that each of those 3 shapes happen 4 times. Nice and easy. Now they're going to start moving quickly. Now they're 2 times each. That's it. Move on. Move on. So the pace of the chord changes, the harmonic rhythm, everything gets a little bit quicker towards the second half of that bridge. Left hand is easy. It's all whole notes, sometimes half notes, all octaves. So we start with a big B octave, 2, 3, 4. Go up to C sharp, 2, 3, 4. Up to D, 2, 3, 4. Now, like I said before, things get quicker. So down to B for 2 beats, half note. 2. C sharp, half note. 2. Now this last one, which is going to be D, you can hang out here for a full whole note. 2, 3, 4. And there's a bit of a retard here. The time stretches out. You can take your time. So it's not a perfect 1, 2, 3, right? It shouldn't be like that. You can stretch it out. I'll put them together very slowly. See, I did a pretty dramatic slowdown there at the end. That's what you want to do. Great. Now we're at this breakdown chorus, a very, very quiet chorus where we are no longer rolling the notes. They are straight up block chords, as I showed you in the beginning for the sake of practice. That's actually how you're going to play them in this upcoming chorus. Watch this. That's your breakdown chorus, and then it's going to go basically into a normal chorus afterwards, and you'll be very close to finishing this. I'm just going to show you how to do both hands together at the same time because you need both hands to really complete the chord. There's no sense in separating them, and the rhythm isn't tricky. You're just sitting. These are half notes, nice and easy. So here we go. First chord, A major. Play it like this. A and E left hand, C sharp, E, A right hand. Next, move the left hand pinky down to G sharp. You know where this is going. So you have G sharp and E. Right hand, play B, E, G sharp. Then left hand, play F sharp and C sharp. Right hand, play A, C sharp, F sharp. Now here's a big one. Left hand, play D, A, D. Right hand, A, D, F sharp. Pretty similar for the next round. You're going to play the same thing in the right hand as before for A major, C sharp, E, A. But left hand is an A octave, like that. Next chord, right hand is the same as it was in the last round, B, E, G sharp. But left hand is a G sharp octave. Right hand chord will be the same, A, C sharp, F sharp. Left hand, F sharp octave. Final chord, you guessed it, right hand is the same, A, D, F sharp. Left hand, D octave. So that was 4 bars, 2 rounds of the chord progression in half notes. I'll play it for you. Now this is where things get weird. This is sort of a rocking 8th note pattern that I have to teach you. We haven't done this yet. If it's too difficult for you, you can just repeat what I showed you one more time and it's gonna be fine. But what you're really supposed to do is this. Okay, it's this whole broken chord rocking 8th note pattern. So let me teach it to you. Start with the right hand because that's where all of the busy stuff is. C sharp and A. You got to use 2 and 5 because after you play C sharp and A, you have to go right to A and E. So watch this. You have to rock between those two positions. This is tricky for some. Similar kind of thing coming up. You have to play B and G sharp. I like 2 and 5. And then you have to play G sharp E. It's a little uncomfortable. I use 1 and 4. Now we have to play C sharp and A. Again, 2 and 5. Then A and F sharp with 1 and 4 most of the time, for most people. Like that. Now a slight change for the last one. D and A with 2 and 5. Back to A, F sharp, 1 and 4. So that was our 4 chords in eighth notes with kind of broken, they're fifths and sixths if we're talking about intervals. Yeah, it's mostly what they are. So here's what it sounds like. This takes a bit of practice and dexterity. I already know because I've taught the song to so many people that this is the part that they just go, ugh, when they get to this. They hate it, which is why I said you can cut and paste the half note portion we just did if you need to under the chorus vocals, and it's going to be fine. But if you want to be authentic, this is what you have to do. Here's the left hand for the 4 bars. A octave, E and B, F sharp and C sharp. We've been through this so many times by this point. D and A octave, go down, G sharp octave, go down, F sharp octave, D A. Slowly with our difficult broken chords in the right hand. Go. All right, I'm going to play the final chorus and ending for you guys. We're almost there. As usual, there are a couple of tiny differences in this chorus, but once we get through it, you're done. So let's go round by round. Remember, it's a whole round of this A, E, F sharp minor, D chord progression. That's what I mean by a round, right? That's going to happen 5 times in this chorus. So we'll go through each round and I'll show you how to end the piece. So here's the first round. This you've done before, but I'll break it down anyway. A octave in the left hand, A, C sharp, A right hand. Roll it. Next, E and B left hand, B, E, G sharp right hand, like that. Next, F sharp octave left hand, A, C sharp, A right hand. Here's the rolling. Finally, left hand D octave, right hand A, D, A. Just like that. Now do that again for the second round. How nice, we get to just repeat ourselves. Guess what? Round 3, same thing. So far, so good. Round 4, we're not so lucky. Let me play it for you. Okay, so same chords, but things are getting lower. The inversions are changing. So round 4, let's break this up. Left hand is A octave, right hand A, C sharp A. So it's starting off the same way, right? But now, E and B left hand, G sharp B, E right hand. And now F sharp minor root position, F sharp A, C sharp, right hand. Left hand is similar, F sharp, C sharp. Finally, D and A left hand, F sharp A, D right hand. Now the 5th and final revolution of this chorus progression looks like this. And then it actually goes on and on and on, but we'll talk about that. So what's happening in this very last one, A and E left hand, you may have to go lower so you don't crash with the right hand. Right hand is E, A, C sharp. Pretty low as well. Look at the right hand, it's low. Now keep your thumb in the right hand where it is on E, because you're going to play a basic E major root position triad, E, G sharp, B. Left hand will be E and B. Bring it all up to a basic F sharp minor root position triad. F sharp, C sharp left hand, F sharp, A, C sharp right hand. And now finally, the ending. Root position, D major triad, D and A left hand. But notice I hung out a little bit longer because we're about to end the piece. I did it 4 times. Now what I want you to do twice is just modify the right hand. Keep the thumb on D, but stretch up to G sharp and B. Do the same thing. Keep the thumb on D, stretch up to A and C sharp. Now stretch a little more. D, F sharp, D. 3, 4 times. And then play A and E in both hands, 2 power chords. And it shouldn't be loud like I just did. It should actually be pretty quiet. More like that. Okay, so I'm very slowly going to play through this whole chorus and ending just so you see it one more time, and then we are done. And that's how you end the piece. If you're still here at the end of this lesson, thank you so much for watching. I know this was a long and detailed one. As I mentioned before, you can take some shortcuts. Just learn the introduction, verse, chorus, and you can basically repeat yourself. That's honestly what I did for so many years. But here now you have all of the details and the little changes that are happening as the verses come back and the choruses come back, which is pretty cool because there's a reason why those details are there and why these little changes happen. There's a lot of logic behind it. So it's good to notice it, and I think it was important to teach that to you guys. Anyway, don't forget that the music is available on musicnotes.com if you read music and you want to download my arrangement. Don't forget to check out my Patreon and support me if you like this kind of content. Like and subscribe. It helps me so much with the growth of this channel. Really appreciate you guys sticking around, and I'll see you all very soon in the next video.